Hi everyone, Susie here. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Hope everybody is doing well. I'm really excited about today's video because it's a collaboration video and it's with my friend Little Miss Budget. I will leave a link to her video for our collaboration down below, so you guys definitely need to head over to her channel and check her out. She is one of the sweetest people on YouTube, and her channel focuses on a lot of affordable makeup, budget beauty, some makeup tutorials, reviews. She does some taste tests and just a wide variety of videos, but all featuring very affordable content, or a majority of affordable content, I should say. And she is really just a sweet person, so you should definitely check her channel out. Be sure to subscribe to her channel and follow her over there. So she reached out to me and invited me to do a collaboration for her 100 Years of Makeup series. So she's basically breaking down the decades of makeup. So I think all the way from the 1910s on up to the 2000s. And she is sharing makeup looks that she is creating, as well as with the YouTubers that she's collaborating with are creating looks based on that time period. And I chose the 1950s, so we are both creating looks inspired by the 1950s. Now, you guys have to excuse me for one. This was the most retro kind of shirt that I own. I honestly just don't have a lot of vintage inspired clothing. Kind of a shame, because I really do like retro and vintage style things. I did try to do my hair in a headband, which is not a style that I usually wear, but it is a style that I think has been worn in the 1950s many times. And I also want to do a quick apology if you guys hear any thunder in the background. I live in Florida, and we just get random thunderstorms during the day, and that is what's about to happen outside. So I just wanted to issue a quick warning. So the 1950s is kind of like a decade where makeup style really started to change for women. It went from being kind of more natural, kind of more of something that was to be, not stand outish and not something that brought a lot of attention to you, to all of a sudden at the late 50s, it was definitely starting to become kind of bold and bright, and leading into the 60s, which were some more bright colors. So in a lot of the nighttime looks for the 1950s, and as well as looks in the later 1950s, there was a lot of looks that incorporated blue eyeshadow. And one of the big things about the 1950s was the bold lips. So the icons of this time period were like Grace Kelly, Doris Day, Audrey Hepburn, Marilyn Monroe. Huge makeup inspiration for many, including myself. And I was really drawn to the 1950s because I kind of like that style myself. Let's go ahead and get started, and I will be kind of giving you guys some facts about the 1950s that I learned while doing this collaboration. So I did go ahead and moisturize my face. When I read about the 1950s, I didn't read about them using primers and things like that. I think they used a lot of just like lotions for the face and all, but they did use foundation. So I am going to use my foundation today, not applying any primer. Foundation in the 1950s was definitely something that matched your skin tone. It was kind of frowned upon to use anything that was too dark or too light for your skin tone. And another thing was cakey makeup was definitely not a thing. It was very kind of unfashionable to be wearing makeup that was very cakey and just looked like you were wearing like a total pancake face. They would not be happy with some of the makeup looks that we created in the last few years, I would say, because cake face was a thing. Foundation that I'm using is this one from Revlon Color Stay, shade 240 medium beige. Now they probably would have applied this with their hands, honestly, clean hands and fingers. Unless you were a makeup artist, they might have been using things like brushes, but a lot of the makeup application that I've seen from back in the day, people just kind of used their hands. Now we're gonna do concealer, and concealer was a thing. Concealer was actually invented by Max Factor. It was called Erase. That's what the concealer was called. And it was invented, I think, in like 1953 or mid 1950s. It was the first concealer. So concealer was definitely a thing. So I am gonna apply some concealer under my eyes and any areas where I have any kind of darkness. This concealer is from Zoeva, and this is their Authentic Skin Perfector concealer in the shade 110 Embodied. So Max Factor was actually a very popular brand of makeup, and I actually remember Max Factor. I actually remember it being in the stores. So I don't know at what point Max Factor wasn't really making a lot of makeup anymore. I've seen it still, like I think they still make makeup, but it's just not as popular anymore. It's really a shame because it was one of the really big makeup companies of the 1950s, and it's a very interesting fact that Max Factor was actually Polish, and I am myself Polish, so I'm very proud of that. But I actually learned that a long time ago, and I thought that is so interesting. So I am applying this concealer, and I am using the same sponge. Sometimes I use my fingers, but today I'm just using this sponge. One of the big things in the 1950s to set makeup was the invention of what's called the Creme Puff or Cream Puff. It was also by Max Factor, and it was a base and powder in one. So if you, I guess, didn't want to apply the whole foundation, you could actually use this, and it was kind of like an all-in-one powder. You could apply it to set the makeup, or you could even kind of just wear it as like a tinted powder kind of thing, like some people do now. The only thing that I have that's kind of similar is like a pressed powder nowadays, like Infallible Fresh Wear. You can kind of use this like foundation and a powder, kind of similar, and they would use a little puff like this, and they would just set their makeup with it. So that is what I'm doing, and I am using this one. It is in the shade 120 Vanilla. So now that I've set my makeup, I am ready to do my brows. Now I do have my brows microbladed, ombre powder brow, but I do fill them in. And one of the ways that was really popular to fill in the brows was kind of with a eyebrow powder, which still exists and people do still use it. I don't currently have one that matches my eyebrows, so I am going to use an eyeshadow, and I'm using this Tartelette palette eyeshadow in the shade Power Player right here. It matches my eyebrows pretty well. And eyebrows were not thin and sparse in the 1950s. They were not like bold, but they were just well groomed. You know, they were like a full brow, but they were well groomed and, you know, just very nicely brushed, filled in with some eyebrow powder. So now that we got our brows done, our skin done, we're ready for our eye makeup. And what I'm gonna do is kind of loosely based on Marilyn Monroe's makeup, because she was such an icon and such a fashion figure in the 1950s, and I love her look. But this is kind of a really popular look anyways. I feel like a lot of people were creating this look in the 1950s, and a lot of popular colors to use were like beiges, kind of light pinks, really light pastel-y blues. Towards the mid 1950s, like shimmery shades that were kind of a like beige shimmer, like very light gold shimmer. There was some baby blues used for like an evening look, things like that. Definitely no smoky looks, a lot of more kind of toned down pastel-y neutral colors. So I'm actually using my CoverGirl Chocoholic palette. I'm going in with this super light natural shade, and I'm gonna apply that all over the lid. And this little eyeshadow palette smells like chocolate. It smells really good. There was definitely not any like super smoky looks or anything like that in the 1950s, and not overly abundant use of bright colors. All right, I've got that applied. I didn't read anything about using any crease colors, so I'm not gonna do that. I feel like it was a lot of very single color eyeshadow looks in the 1950s. So I'm actually just only gonna use that. If you wanted to, you could go in and use like a little bit of a lighter shade in the crease to kind of define the eye, but honestly, I didn't see a whole lot of that, so I'm not gonna do that. Really simple look. So now we're gonna do the eyeliner. This is my MAC Brush Black Brush Stroke 24-hour liner. If you're looking for a really good liquid eyeliner, this one is awesome. So one of the really popular things to do in the 1950s was the wearing of what is known as the cat eye or winged eyeliner look. That's where it really came from. It just wasn't quite as exaggerated. Like a lot of times you'll see pinup makeup kind of similar to this, and that wing will be like super exaggerated. It wasn't to that point. It was just a really subtle flick of the eyeliner. You guys can't see it, but it's a full-on like monsoon outside right now. Pretty sure you can hear the rain on the windows. And now I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna do the little flick out at the outer edge. So nextly for mascara, I am gonna curl my lashes, and I actually have a funny story to tell you guys about the mascara back then. One of the popular kinds of mascara back in the 1950s was actually a like block of mascara. It was a little block of mascara inside of like a little tray that you would open up, and you would actually get a little brush and you would just kind of go like this, and then you would brush it onto your lashes. I don't know if people remember that. I only remember it because I actually have an aunt who lived with me and my parents for quite a while when she first came to the US. So this particular aunt was very infatuated with makeup. She loved wearing makeup, and she actually had one of those mascaras. It was her favorite mascara. She would use it all the time, and I clearly remember her taking the little brush. It was kind of similar to this one, and she actually just like went like this and wet it with her tongue, which was actually a very normal thing to do back in the 50s. People would just apply literally a little bit of spit to this brush and just kind of wiggle it on the mascara and then use it to apply to the lashes. Crazy, I know, but I actually remember that. So I am going to go ahead and apply my mascara now using my I'm using my Maybelline, the Colossal Curl Bounce Mascara, and applying this to my lashes. Now, popular colors for mascara back in the 50s were browns and blacks, of course, black browns. There was some colored mascaras, but I think those were more for like evening wear. So the typical mascara was a brown or a black. All right, lastly, it's time for the lips, and the popular lip look of the 1950s is, of course, that iconic red lip look. So that's what I have here today. Now, the thing to do was to apply a red lip liner followed by a nice red lipstick, very popular. There was other lipsticks which were popular in the 1950s, such as like corals, very kind of light pinkish orangey colors, pinks, pastel pinks, but red was just a really iconic look. One, because of the war, people coming back from the war, and it was just a very, as Little Miss Budget said in her last video, patriotic color to wear in the 40s and the 50s. So red lipstick is what we're going with today. I am going to use this little Color Sensational Shaping Lip Liner in the shade Brick Red. This is from Maybelline. I'm going to apply this really quick and then we'll apply our lip color. All right, so I have that applied and now we're gonna go in with our lip color. This is Red Revival, also by Maybelline. Really pretty red color. And we're just gonna apply that all over the lip. So let's go ahead and apply. And I am not really someone who wears red lipstick, so my application of my red lipstick might not be super on par because frankly, I just never really wear it. It's not that I don't like it on myself. I don't know. I never really wear red lipstick. And lastly, to finish up our look, I am gonna be applying some blush. Now, blush or rouge, as it was called, was something that was very much used in the 1950s. Really pretty pastel colors. So I'm probably gonna use this one right here. And this is actually my little Revolution blush palette, the blush palette melt that I got at TJ Maxx on clearance for $4, really good deal. But I'm actually just gonna use my finger, and where they applied blush, or rouge as it was called, is actually kind of on the high cheekbones. They typically applied kind of these pastel-y pink type shades or corals, and they didn't wear a whole lot of it either. It wasn't like super caked on, super bright, just kind of something like that. Really high up here on the cheekbone, and it didn't go in very far this way either. It would just kind of started at like the mid-eye and just right on that cheekbone. Very pretty, super flattering. So that is the look. Super simple, really easy, but very flattering. This was the typical 1950s red lip, kind of winged eyeliner look. Very pretty and very flattering. And you know, this would be worn with like a really nice, pretty feminine dress. So that's the look. What do you guys think? Do you think it looks very 50-ish? I actually think I really like it, and I think the red lipstick is actually very flattering on me. I don't know why I don't wear it often enough, right? So let me know what you guys think in the comments section down below. And as I said, please do head over to Little Miss Budget's channel and check out her video, her look from the 1950s. I can't wait to see it myself. Hope you guys enjoy this video. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and click the notification bell on my channel to be notified of my future videos. And do let me know what you think. Do you like the makeup from the 1950s, or is it a little too plain for you? Let me know what you think down below. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Have a good day or night or whatever it is where you are. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye guys.